So with this system, we're going to start off by removing this right lower fairing, and they are all with a T25 Torx bit. So there are a total of 5 bolts that hold on this lower fairing, and there's 2 different bolts. The one with the longer straight shaft goes in where there is a rubber grommet in the fairing itself. The shorter ones do not get a rubber grommet. So on the inside right here, we have one more Torx bit. That's a T25 as well. There's one more Torx T25 underneath the bottom of the fairing. Remove that. Just be careful if this is the last one that you're removing, because the whole fairing will want to fall off. Gotta have to remove the left fairing as well. Same process. T25 Torx bit. To remove the headers and the rest of the exhaust, I would recommend getting a tight reach with a 1-inch swivel head for your 10mm socket, 12 point. Really simple. You just basically are going like this, so you reach the bolts that you can't reach.
Easiest way to do this without removing the coolers is to take your 12.10 and a swivel, throw a little bit of electrical tape on there so that it doesn't want to jump around all the time, and then a 12-inch extension, and bring it behind the cooler and then in between cylinder 1 and 2. And when you go this route, you can get right up in there and still have plenty of clearance to be able to remove the bolt.
Next, we need to remove the top portion of the servo. We will remove secondary portions of it later in the install. First, we begin with the nut on the back side of the black plastic cap.
In order to remove these cables, we have to loosen these nuts on both sides of the cables, so we could spin this enough where we can get the cables up and out, and then we can remove them. The first one that we removed was a 10mm. For whatever reason, this one's an 11mm. Now we're going to remove the stock Akrapovic system, the muffler first with a T45 Torx bit. Now with a T40 Torx bit, remove the bracket, the bolt that holds the bracket onto the muffler. Once you got this loose and you got that bolt out, the muffler should slide right off. Drop the muffler box. There are 2 bolts. One is from this side, the other is from the opposite side. Remove one at a time. It's a bit tight, but you can fit it. It's a 14mm. Gonna remove this bolt right here, which is a T45 Torx. On the left side of the bike, there's a 402 sensor right underneath where the kickstand goes. Remove that as well. Before you drop the muffler for the entire exhaust system, you have to remove this radiator bracket, or else you won't be able to drop the exhaust. With a T30 Torx, you're going to remove this radiator bracket in order to drop the exhaust. Once the entire exhaust is loose and free from the bike, you have to kind of finagle it and twist it and pull it out gently. This is our exhaust gasket. In order for it to stay up, I like to put a little dab of grease on the backside, or you could use RTV or Loctite or whatever you prefer.
Then we install the spigots to the block. As always, finger tight first, torque them down later.
Once you get the spigots on, we're going to hang the springs off of the flanges to make it easier, so once we go to put our headers on, it just makes it easier to put them on. Now you
So-
should have 2 springs on each flange. So once you get your flanges on and your springs, you take your cylinders. They're all marked. This one's marked 1 and 2, which is the left and the left 2 cylinders. You're gonna put these merge pipes on, which they might feel loose, but with 1 heat cycle, they will swell and they will seal. Once you get those together, pop them on, hook your springs up to the spring tabs on the sides, like so.
Can be a little difficult to get the downpipes into the collars, but a little bit of finesse. Once you do have them seated, grab one of each pipe and you can press and pull them individually and just wiggle them in. You'll slowly start to see the downpipes sitting deeper and deeper inside the collar to make sure that they're bottomed out completely, and then you can affix the springs.
Next, we're going to take our collector and connect them to the downpipes with some graphite assembly lube, which I just like to pour out and then put them on the inside of the pipes. Just take a finger. Once you get them all lubed up with the graphite, time to slip them on. Takes a little finagling to get them all lined up. Once you get the collector started, don't be too concerned about seating all the way in yet. It's a lot of pipes, a lot of connecting parts. Next thing you want to do is get the O2 sensors in. If you don't remember which O2 sensor went to which side, each one is going to its dedicated side, so follow that wire back and that'll tell you which side it goes to, whether the 1 and 2 cylinder or the 3 and 4 cylinder collector. The 2 sensors in, hand tight, just crank them down a little bit. You don't have to really give them too much. You just have to be snug. Get this O2 sensor started. All the way down until it's finger tight. And just nice and snug. Now we install the springs on the collector. If you don't have a spring puller, you can use a flathead screwdriver, channel locks, vice grips, pair of pliers, whatever you can. Figure it out. Same thing on this side. Once you get all 4 springs on the collectors up front, that's when you should really be able to jiggle and push in, because the springs will help pull it all together and it helps seat these connections all the way in. Now it's time to install the muffler. First we're going to put on our clamp. You want to be very careful not to scratch the back of the muffler or the side of the swing arm. Kind of gentle. Place. You're going to take your stock hardware. Once you get that through, take a fender washer and a lock nut, put it on the back side. T40 Torx, 13 mil on the back, tighten her down. Once you have the muffler where you want it, make sure it's like nice and away from the swing arm. There's a good amount of clearance there. Line your strap on right there, tighten her down. Now it's time to remove the cables for the servo motor, which if you follow these cables up right here, you can see it move when you shake up and down. I want to start removing this. You can remove this bracket as well that was holding the servo motor if that is in your way. It's unnecessary now. Once you get that electrical connection off, you're going to gently pull the servo motor while you feed the cables up. Now that you're all set, you got the exhaust mounted, you got the servo motor and the wires removed, you got all the O2 sensors in. It's time to start it, but before you start it, let's wipe it down, get our fingerprints off of it. If not, it'll tarnish and just look really bad. Your fingerprints will burn onto the pipe. You could use alcohol, MEK, any kind of like cleaning product really. Pipe all cleaned, it's time to start it. Feel around, see if you can feel any leaks.